Hello to everyone watching. I know that my last batch of posts took like a week to come out. I posted last week, and then it took me like a week to post again, and now I'm posting the day after. But I have a good reason, so you know what? Leave me alone. It's because I'm addicted. The only reason I wasn't working on the game, and we've been waiting a little bit to get more devlogs, is literally just because I've had work. So on my days off, I do this, and today was my day off, so I was working more on this. Let's talk about what that entails. So first things first. I had to completely overhaul my entire gravity system. Already off to a terrible start. So here's the thing. I'm going to reveal one of the features that this Zelda-like will have. Basically, the premise is you're in a odd office with odd rules attached to the office. And while the character that you play as doesn't recognize it as absurd or odd, you the player might. And so I'm going to go through one of the rules, not all of them, but one of the rules that is established as part of the rules of the office. So, one of those rules is stairs establish gravity. So, basically, if you're on a staircase, and I know this doesn't look like a staircase, Liam was supposed to model me a staircase and send me the asset, and then I was going to use that. But he had combined all of the wall assets and the door asset and the stair asset into one model. And, ordinarily that's fine. It's a simple fix. He'll get it to me when he gets it to me. But that's why the staircase looks like a ramp right now. Soon it'll look like a staircase, I promise. But yes, one of the rules was staircases establish gravity. Now, before I even got to use ChatGPT for today, and trust me, I went back and forth with ChatGPT a bunch for this one. Not to say that I wasn't, assisting with it. Not only assisting, but actually leading in development. And then ChatGPT was just helping me. Today, I actually spent a decent amount of time fiddling with friction and gravity and weight and physics. And what that has culminated into is eventually overhauling the entire gravity system in general. So, ordinarily, in Godot, there are these things called vectors. Especially one called Vector 3D, which you use a lot for directional movement. Now, ordinarily, for the game, before I overhauled everything, was Vector 3D.down was how my character stayed on the ground. So Vector 3D.down, that's how that means that the direction that whatever you're using that vector for, it is aiming towards the global down, the global south, which is a problem for what we're working with today. Why is that a problem? Well, I'll tell you exactly why that's a problem. That is a problem because while programming the stairs control gravity, which is this one. Not this one, actually. I don't actually need this one. So while programming stairs establish gravity, I realized that my character will always immediately go to vector down at the same time as it's going up. So what would happen is he'd go into the gravity field, and he'd go up with the gravity, I have a contraption here to demonstrate the gravity. Why don't I actually demonstrate? Usually I wait until the end to demonstrate, but I feel like I might capture more of your attention if I just show you what happens. So here's the character, here's the guy. Cool little slide, run, jump, yep. And, okay, so, first of all, one of the bigger obstacles that I had for this was, before I even started establishing working with gravity, rigid bodies actually kind of treat ramps like this as walls, which isn't helpful for me at all. It's actually terrible. So I had to program manually that when he walks onto a ramp like this, it doesn't like push him back like it's a wall. But ignoring that for now, this is what happens when you jump into the gravity field of one of my staircases. And it's a little awkward right now because, it just jumps and then everything swaps instantly. I'll program an animation for swapping later where it doesn't like teleport you. Instead it rotates you towards there. But oh shit. So cool thing about the way that I did this. So the way that gravity works now, I was establishing how vectors work, but the way that gravity works now is instead of being pulled down on the global down, I'm being pulled down at the direction of my floor raycast. And the floor raycast was what I was using in order to tell my character that it's falling. Basically, if the node doesn't... If the floor raycast isn't active, then I'm falling. And that's what decides that. But now, the floor raycast also has a new purpose of establishing where the floor is. So now, the way that it works is that whatever direction that if my floor raycast is colliding with the gravity area, that updates the gravity to be where that gravity area is. So that's how you get cool stuff like this right here, which actually is a really cool scene, I think. Look at this. It's just really, I'm actually going to take a screenshot. Hold on. Print screen. That's a new profile picture. Ignoring that for now. That's what I've been working on. So all day I've been working on creating stairs that alter the gravity. And not just that, but stairs just in the first place. Stairs were a little bit more annoying to program than I initially thought. I initially expected that what would happen is if you just walk diagonally on a 40-degree angle of the slope, it would just push you up. But since I'm using a rigid body for the character, that's not what happens. It treats it like it's a wall, and everything breaks. So with that in mind, I fixed that solution by making it so I have a new raycast. So hold on. New raycast for the player. It's right there. That is the stair sensor. And whenever the stair sensor is active, it'll push my character up slightly. That is all it does. Oh. Uh-oh. There we go. So when it's active, it just pushes my character up slightly. When it senses that there's stairs, it pushes me up. And there's this little bug. Obviously, this isn't like the fully cleaned up version of what I'm doing here. I haven't even gotten the non-Euclidean physics down yet. Oh shit! I wasn't supposed to say that. Well, spoilers. Non-Euclidean physics I'm also working on. So yeah, that's what's going on. So going back to what I'd done. Fuck. Today was another 10-hour shift, and honestly, it was not very healthy for me. But ignoring that, floor is colliding. That's that changes the custom gravity direction. Right now, the custom gravity direction is vector.0. So, okay. This has taught me something new. Vector 3.0 I can actually use as a placeholder. And this happens on multiple occasions. So not just here, but down here, these are both placeholders that only get updated after something happens. This one is vector 3 and then just it doesn't do anything. Vector 3.0. It's vector 3, but it doesn't establish which vector 3. So I think because of that, the move direction isn't like changed, I want to say. I don't know. It works, and that's all I really need to know. Yippee. I'm sure I had an answer for it like 3 days ago, but my brain is really fried. So, talking about what's going on. So first of all, initially every single instance of custom gravity direction was replaced with a variation of either vector 3 vector 3 dot down, vector 3 dot up, vector 3 dot back, vector 3 dot forward, right, left, etc. So, for example, this one right here. Where is it? Oh yeah. This, what it does is it pushes my character upwards, and that's what the center does. But it does that by going into the negatives of my gravity. So the gravity is constantly being pushed down. It's a constant thing. So the floor gravity, the floor raycast goes down and activates a sensor, and that sensor tells my character, "Hey, that's the new gravity." Great. At least in the context of when it's talking to the gravity stairs. When it goes to the gravity stairs, it talks to the gravity stairs, says, "Hey, this is the new gravity." Great. Great news. That's what goes on there. So past that, what happens is, I lost my train of thought. Oh, that might low-key be it. The rest of this is really just like explaining how that works. I can show you. This is what does the stair sensor. That's what pushes me up. Oh, right. So that means any instance of up or down, I can't say vertex 3 dot down or vertex 3 dot up. I have to say custom gravity direction, and then whichever like instance I want it. If I want it to go down, I just do it normally. If I want it to go up, then I do it negatively. So my first instinct was actually to use exclamation points, because exclamation points in like coding means the opposite of. But here, since it's a float, instead it uses negative signs. So that's cool. You can see instances of the gravity going here. So here's the gravity. This one talks about, these are all updated without the vectors. These are all updated to talk about each direction. Running, jumping, walking, the whole shebang. This is saying that the up direction is vector 0 as a placeholder, and then re-establishes what up direction is as negative custom gravity. And then I go back and I talk about up direction for... This one is for rotating the character. So for re-establishing what the character is. So whenever I enter the gravity stairs, this is actually pretty simple code. It's if entered, I recycled the code that I used for the security piston. That's how I got here. Then the stair gravity rotates your character on the y-axis of the stairs, and that's literally all. That's the entire. And then on exited, nothing happens. That's it. That's it. So, uh, oh, right. So initially, I had ChatGPT write me the code for this, and I was looking at it, and I was gonna have him write for me, and then I was going to read it and try to learn from it. But that actually did not work to my favor. I read it, and I didn't understand a single fucking thing, and I tried the code, and it didn't work, and I didn't know why. And so ultimately, I just scrapped that code entirely, and I just started writing my own code. So actually, most of this is my work. All of this is me. All of this is me. This, which is the most important part, is not me, but to be fair, I tried really hard to get this to work. So, again, this was before I realized that I had to get rid of vectors. So basically the entire time I was begging vectors to work. I was messing around with vectors. I was messing around with bases. I tried using global position. And it looks like I was close. I was really close because I tried using global position. Get global position. And then I was establishing that as a variable. And I was saying that variable transform it into whatever I want it to be, and that didn't work for some reason. So because of that, I got it fixed by ChatGPT, and it's really just this rotates the player, this rotates the gravity direction. Going through. This is just what tells you that the gravity is subjective. This is the one that updates the gravity. This is the gravity strength because I've set a custom gravity strength since... Oh. So my player, I had to actually change his physics material to empty and drop his gravity scale to 0 because adding a gravity scale fucked everything up. Because when you have a gravity scale, it pulls you towards the world, since gravity is already, like, automatically implemented in the game. So I had to completely remove his gravity scale and then build the gravity from scratch. And building the gravity from scratch, granted, was just... It was hard, yes, but it was only hard because I didn't know what I was doing. And the main reason was just trial and error. Like... Oh boy. Whoopsie-daisy. So, one of the big reasons why this is so fucky right now is because these staircases are actually meant to be inside. The setting for the game is inside an office, and thus the... Holy shit. Right, there's no collision box for the actual side of the stairs, just for walking up the stairs, and so... Okay, more shit to fix. Great. But that's unrelated. I basically just spent a lot of time making these stairs. That's what I was doing all day. I didn't really mess around with my player at all. Nothing really changed there except for obviously making the gravity stairs work, which entailed, I guess, a lot because I was replacing all the vector 3s. So, I guess what did we learn? Vector 3 is a global variable, and if you don't want to use a global variable, then you have to replace it with your own personal thing. Sometimes you just got to go in there and do it yourself. You know, you got to... I saw this stupid-ass video where it said, if you want to bake an apple pie from scratch, you have to first invent the universe. So I'm hoping that in doing this, it'll make my dungeon design more unique and more interesting, which I think it will be. I'm working with a lot of ways to make the design stand out, and I already have all the rules established for what I want for the first dungeon, and then I think I'll just add one rule per dungeon for a total of how many dungeons I have. And I already know how many that is, but I'm not going to tell you, so don't worry about that. And obviously, that's not even like a set number either. I might decide, hey, this game is worse off having more chapters than I want it, or this game is worse off having less than I want. And then I'll add and subtract as I see fit. But yeah, that was today's devlog. I hope you had a good day. Thank you.